As a child growing up, I was always safe and loved and cared for, and that fostered a huge amount of confidence for me. My parents are the ones that will sit and watch a movie with us and still be snuggling together on the couch. My mom, metaphorically, no doors were ever closed. There was always that ability to go to her with anything.
I do. I think when you get that love and you know you're accepted and you know it's unconditional and you know you always have somebody to turn to, I just think that's really important, and I think it was successful.
And if my kids learn anything growing up, that's what I want them to know too. My dad is the very funny, once you get him talking type. He's also very stoic. I think he might come off as intimidating until you hear him talk and open up and be warm.
It just, it gives them that opportunity when things aren't right. When they've had a little problem or something, they'll come right to us. And we, you praise the good and talk through the bad and fix it.
He was the one that never treated me differently because I was a girl. He's gonna take me fishing and show me how to change a sprinkler head. He has always been the wreck.
She's very close to her brother. And we went to dinner and he and I just sat back the whole time. And it was just listening to them go back and forth and giggle and laugh and movie quotes.
On the night of May 11th, my mom and I had made plans to go shopping the next day in Denver for her birthday. Roommate went to bed. I stayed up for about another hour, turned on a movie, go figure, to fall asleep, and I went to bed. And the next thing I remember was waking up feeling like I couldn't breathe. A man had broken in, come into my room in the early morning hours, and that action changed my life forever. I was taken by surprise, and I didn't have my element of sight, and I was worried because I didn't know where my roommates were. I had to lay there at 20 years old, wondering what the last thing I said to my parents was, to my brother, wondering if anybody was gonna find me. And I absolutely thought that was where my life was ending. And in a way it did.
Kim's roommate called, and it was first thing in the morning. And when I picked up the phone, she was yelling, and I had to ask her to repeat herself because all I could focus on was the sound of my daughter in the background screaming. Got to go in to see her, but we couldn't hug her or touch her or anything.
And I wouldn't let him. I knew that my body was a walking crime scene.
So yeah, that was hard.
Because you just want to scoop her up.
You do.
The next 3 weeks were back and forth with the police department and sleeping in my parents' bed like I was 5 years old.
She stayed in the center of the house.
I didn't want to go out in the sunshine. I was scared of being near windows. I had to take a shower that night and have my mom talking to me the entire time because I didn't want to close my eyes.
Sleep didn't come easy. When you're awake, you're in a nightmare, and when you're asleep, you're in a nightmare. Kim's a stronger version of who she was before this happened. She's still competitive. She's, still creative, still sarcastic. But yeah, I think she's a stronger version.
Much more driven.
Mm-hmm.
Much more driven now. She knows what the goal is. Can't stop her. Can't stop her.
Yeah.
But she's just, every time she talks about somebody that she's helped, it's amazing. It really is.
We got married this summer on May 18th. Merged 2 families, which means we now have a new house, 4 kids, 2 dogs. I think that the kids have an incredibly important role in helping her out of the bad days. And they adore their mother. They treat her like a jungle gym. There's very few times when Kim can't just sit on the couch with kids and not have one of them or both of them climbing all over her. So I think they don't know it, but they play an incredibly important role in the mental well-being of the entire house. Not just her, not just me.
there's this component of being self-destructive for victims because you think that's what you're worthy of. In action, you have been told that you are less than human, that you are less important than somebody else's desires or power or control. And they show you that in physical action when you are assaulted. And for us to have to beat back that mindset and say, no, that's not how this should be, is really difficult. And sometimes we, in an effort to cope, change how we interact with the rest of the world so that those two things can at least be equal. We are made to feel like we are less than and that we should act as such. And it takes sometimes somebody on the outside saying, nope, what happened to you is not who you are. Normal has become always making sure I'm going to therapy. Normal was not knowing what was going to come next. Normal is feeling complete and surrounding love from my family, to include Mike and the kids. And even though the house may be a mess and we may be super tired, and at the end of the day we can sit there and say we did all right, making it through, because in the midst of chaos, it's knowing that you have that foundation to fall back on if you need it. To know that you can ask for help, to know that you can say, I'm having a bad day and I could use a little bit of help, and feeling okay with that. Just knowing that wherever I'm at in the journey, it's not over.